Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Cruise Chat. I'm Steve from Berwick Voyages, and I'm thrilled to be here today with my great friend Shannon Tiger from Viking Cruises. We're incredibly proud of our long-standing partnership with Viking, one of the top luxury cruise companies, voted by Condé Nast Traveler readers as #1 for river, ocean, and expedition cruises 2 years in a row. Over the years, we've worked together to bring you amazing cruise options around the world, from the rivers of Europe to the Mediterranean to the polar regions. Today, we're excited to share some of Viking's best itineraries and destinations to help you plan your next voyage. So, Shannon, over to you.
Aw, thanks so much, Steve. I really appreciate you inviting me here for this chat. I love when we are able to just take a deep dive on Viking. And honestly, I know this is the exact way you feel. We just want to get people excited about traveling. It is such an amazing world out there. Steve, how you've been on so many cruises. I mean, do you have a count on how many Viking cruises you've been on personally? Because I feel like
Um,
every time I email, you're like, oh, sure. I'm
I
extremely
believe it's been 7 in the past 2 years, which, considering where our business was many,
amazing.
many years ago, it's a big difference for us.
Yeah,
Viking has been a really a tremendous partner for us, and it's been a great personal experience.
I tell you, folks, I sometimes call Steve for his expertise because I feel like sometimes he knows our product and our procedures better than I do. But that's so great. I love hearing that. And I also love the fact that you've been on our river and our ocean cruises. I think that's really terrific. And you've also experienced the expedition ships. So to me, you are really well rounded and your team is really well rounded on Viking. But I do want to get started on presenting the world of Viking to anyone who's either sailed on us, is interested in sailing again on us, or even if you haven't. And the reason why I love talking about our world is because we do have a very different cruising experience. And Steve, I know you feel the same way. We really have reinvented cruising when it comes to Viking. And I think by the end of this presentation, you're truly going to see how we've done that. And I think you're going to be extremely excited about trying out Viking and experiencing the world through our lens. So, what makes us super unique, first and foremost, is the fact that we have 7 continents that we're traveling. So, think about that, folks. When you get addicted, I use that word lightly, but it's true, to the Viking experience, you can see the entire world through us. We're on all the bodies of water. We go to multiple ports, multiple countries, 5 oceans, 20 rivers. And in 2022, we launched our expedition product. The expedition product you're going to learn a little bit more about later on in the presentation. But what I love about this product is these ships are built for polar regions. They're built to sail the Drake Passage. They're built to experience the interior of Antarctica and the Arctic. But, and I love that, in the summer, we reposition these ships up to the Great Lakes. And Great Lakes may have not been on your wish list, but I'll tell you, folks, this is something you really want to consider because sailing these small ships in the Great Lakes is absolutely a phenomenal experience. And it's also a little closer to home. So we do like that. But what really threads all of these experiences together is the Viking philosophy and the fact, most importantly, that all of these experiences are small ship experiences. So you're going to learn a little bit more about that as we journey together through this presentation. So you may be saying, okay, I love Viking. I've heard about Viking. I've gotten the Viking brochures. I'm really excited to work with Berwick Travel. And I really want you to know that you should be excited about working with Berwick Voyages. And the reason why is we have these really beautiful partnerships with our extended sales force, which are our travel agency partners. What they bring to the table is expert guidance, not just on Viking, but on multiple different experiences, whether it's sun and fun, it's cruise, it's maybe a pre or post extension that you want to do a little differently. So you're going to get that guidance. But most importantly, the travel tips and the time savings and convenience of working with a travel agency and a travel advisor. Imagine not having to go through that learning process, that learning curve about all these different experiences because they are already trained. So Steve and his team are fully trained experts on our product. They advocate on your behalf. So if there is an issue or if there's something that they want to speak about, Steve and his team will call me directly, and I will bring that up through the pipeline of Viking. Having that advocacy for you while you are traveling abroad is absolutely priceless, but also having it before and after your experience, it's really, really important for you to realize the value of that. The added value amenities that you'll get through working with our travel agency partners. Steve and his team are always aware of the best pricing. They have exclusive pricing at times, and they do vet all of the reputable travel suppliers they work with. So I'm sorry, Steve, I threw this slide in here as a little bonus for you, but I do always love to tell our consumer public how important travel advisors are to our community, to our product, and selling our product and sharing our product. So here's all the Berwick Voyages contact information. You likely already have it, but if you want to take a quick screenshot of this, you can speak with them by phone, through email, and you could also go on their beautiful new website. So we love working with Berwick, Steve, and certainly, like I said, you are a huge value to me as well.
Thank you,
What makes
Shannon. We
Viking
appreciate it. We appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, it's true. It's absolutely everything about it is really genuine and sincere. So I love talking about who we're not at Viking, and that's again really what makes our difference in the industry and our product, the way we travel, the way you will experience these destinations that are on your wish list. And I think this is really important. So with Viking, it's all small ships. Everything we do here at Viking is destination focused. So that's your number one difference. Small ships, very, very destination focused. And I got to tell you, if I'm traveling and I'm going to experience destinations that have been on my bucket list, I want to experience the destination. To me, the ship should serve as a residential style, great food, a means of transportation. So what's so fun about Viking is sometimes I don't even talk and speak about us as a cruise line. I actually reference Viking as a floating boutique hotel, giving you that ability to see multiple ports, multiple countries, multiple cities in one travel experience, but without having to pack and unpack. And Steve, I know you know this, but to me, that's the dreaded experience of going to multiple cities by land when you have to go to a new hotel over and over and over again. And you really can't cover as much ground. So you can look at the Viking experience in a few different ways. Maybe you've evolved in your travel experience where you really just want that convenience of packing and unpacking once. Maybe you actually are going to view this experience as a tasting menu and you're going to see multiple ports and destinations, but then decide to maybe go back to one or two and spend more time in them on a future travel journey. So there's lots of different ways that you can really leverage Viking and how we travel the world. We also offer a very highly inclusive product. We're not all inclusive. We'll talk a little more about that. But that inclusive product is really important for you because we don't want you to feel like you're being nickeled and dimed on Viking and having to pay for all these extra things. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But the true difference, again, is small ships and really experiencing these destinations, staying in port longer, giving you a deep dive when you go out on shore with us via one of our shore excursions. The other fun fact about Viking, which everybody seems to clap about and have a big smile about, is the fact that we don't have children on board. So again, if you've evolved in your travel journey, you've already done cruising, you like the concept of cruising, now you don't want to travel with children, we are the cruise line for you.
And
Because
Shannon, by the way, I heard somebody quote this once, and I use
yes,
this a lot, is people would love to travel with their grandchildren, but they don't want to travel with anyone else's grandchildren.
exactly. And one screaming child can change the travel experience, especially if it's not your child or grandchild. So we don't travel with children, but also another fun fact about that. Think about this, folks. If we don't have children on board, we don't have go-kart tracks, we don't have water slides, we don't have kid arcades, all those things that we have to do to keep our children entertained. So it really, again, comes down to it being a truly residential feeling on board and the connection you make with other travelers because of that element not being there is really, really unbelievable. We also don't have casinos. We don't have all of those things like art auctions and photographers. We offer free Wi-Fi, a very beautiful included experience with one shore excursion for every port. Wine and beers included at lunch and dinner. So that's terrific. We also don't have any formal nights, butlers, white glove service. So think about that, a very untraditional way of cruising when we think about what our image of cruising is. One of the things I love about ocean, Steve, and we'll talk about this a little further, is the fact that the ocean ships have laundrettes. So you can actually do laundry. You can pack with one suitcase, one carry-on, and every 2 or 3 days do your laundry. And by the way, people say that some of the best conversation they have is in the laundry room on the ocean ships. So again, you can go for longer on Viking. If you're not traveling with children, we're really thinking that you're going to want to explore the world a little longer. For our river cruises, we're in Europe. We're in exotic destinations such as Egypt, the Far East, the Mekong, the Nile rivers, and then we're also on the Mississippi. So again, giving you a little bit of a closer to home experience. Our Viking Ocean river ships, rather, are just 190 passengers. So you can see on some of these images how they truly act as a floating boutique hotel, a very small, intimate environment on board. And because they're small like that, and we're traveling these beautiful rivers that are the ancient roadways, essentially, of these cities and these countries, you are able to dock right in the heart of the city. And that is truly amazing. When you're on a river ship, you're docking right here alongside of the edge of the river, and you're docking, you're actually stepping off the river ship and you're going into these ports. So you can walk on and off the ships. You can come back to the ship for lunch after doing a guided tour in the morning. And then after lunch, you could go back out into these ports. So I know you agree with me on this one, Steve, but that really is such a cool travel experience. And it's, to me, like nothing else. And that's why I don't like to really reference river cruises as a cruise, but more as a floating boutique hotel.
I love the fact that you wake up every morning in a brand new city in Europe.
It's so great. So our most popular river itineraries are the Rhine, the romantic Danube, so the Danube River, and the Grand European Tour, where we combine the Rhine and the Danube. And in that, you'll then get the Main-Danube Canal, which features Nuremberg. Nuremberg is where the war crime trials were held. The historical experience on board this ship going from Amsterdam to Budapest, or Budapest to Amsterdam, is unbelievable, because you're getting these quaint cities in Germany and Austria and in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, but then you're getting these really iconic cities that we all want to go to, like Amsterdam, Budapest, Vienna, right? Nuremberg, with all that history. So I love them. If you don't have 15 days, or if you really want to go heavy on a land portion, so we call those pre and post extensions, you may want to just do the Rhine, and then you can spend some extra time in Amsterdam, and that will then give you the lower Rhine, giving you the opportunity to also spend some extra time in Switzerland, maybe go hang out with George Clooney in Lake Como, Lucerne, which is absolutely fabulous. I left my heart in Lucerne. So always, when you're planning your journey with Berwick, think about where you want to go. Think about how you can add these land pre and post extensions where you're in hotels, and then in the middle, you pick up the river cruise, because that really brings great value. Now, when you're talking about the Danube, whether you're on the Grand European Tour or just doing, say, the romantic Danube itinerary, going from a really small German village to Budapest, there's the city Prague. Prague is a must when you're on the Danube River as an extension. Prague, if you would do it through us, which you likely would, we will then transfer you from Prague, after doing, say, a land experience there for 3 nights, down to the Danube River, and then you'll pick up your river ship, and then you can spend some extra time in in Budapest. So these pre and post extensions are really valuable. If you love wine, we have a beautiful round trip Bordeaux experience. This is something that I would highly recommend. Chateaus, Rivers, and Wine. You spend a lot of time going out into the countryside to the wineries, which is terrific. Lyon and Provence, whether it's wine or you just love the ancient Roman ruins and that beautiful Provence region. This is very popular in the month of June to experience the lavender in bloom. So
And I will second the Provence region. I was fortunate enough to sail there last year, and the food and wine was just amazing.
It's so amazing. You also have Avignon on that itinerary. So you see the Palace of the Popes. You see that's a walled city. So you can't imagine the experience of a walled city. So to me, the Rhone offers just so much. It's a great second river. It could be a first river if you want. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you do the Rhine or the Grand European Tour, and you do that in the month of April, you'll get to see all the tulips and the flower gardens in bloom. So that's really special too. So Rhine, Amsterdam, Netherlands, tulips, that would be in the month of April. And then if you want the lavender fields in Provence, that's in the month of June. We also have Portugal. Who would think to do Portugal by river? Well, I'll tell you what we do on this is we actually start in Lisbon. We do a beautiful experience in Lisbon, and then we bus you up, taking some stops along the way to Porto, and then you do a round trip Porto cruise, which is fantastic on the Douro River, the River of Gold. This is a fan favorite. People that go on the Douro River actually always tell me, oh my God, it was one of my favorite experiences. And I think what makes that river a little extra special is that we sail it during the day. So the scenic experience is really outstanding on the Douro River. On all of the rivers, we always carve out the best part of the rivers to sail during the day so you can experience them through the sun deck or different parts of the ship. But that is really important because the rivers primarily are industrial, but there are scenic parts of these rivers, like 18-mile stretches that are just littered with castles and cathedrals and small little authentic villages. So it's really quite neat. If you love history, you must put Paris in the heart of Normandy on your wish list in Sailing the World with Viking. This gives you the opportunity to go to round trip Paris, so you can spend some extra time in Paris pre and post. But we then travel the Seine River, giving you that whole French, really cool experience. And then we stop in Rouen. And from Rouen, you'll have the opportunity to experience that beautiful city, but also a full day on the beaches, Omaha Gold and Juno Beach. So that's a great experience. If you want to add more history to that, you can do a fully guided tour. It's our D-Day tour, and you actually start in London for 4 nights doing Churchill's War Room, all of that. And then we take a train over to Paris and you do that experience. So definitely ask Berwick about that. Capitals of Eastern Europe is a great historical experience, taking you from Vienna out to Bucharest to the Black Sea. So highly recommend this. This is a neat river cruise, really giving you so many different countries and ports. And then the Elbe River. A lot of people don't think about the Elbe River, but this is a great Christmas markets cruise, but also in general, the beautiful sights of this river are fantastic. And Dresden is on this itinerary, which is one of the oldest cities for Christmas markets. It's also rich in history with Martin Luther. So we can tell you more about that. The Rhine, the Danube, and the Elbe River, the Seine River, we do great Christmas market cruises. So I'm sure you've heard about these river cruises during the month of December, where all of the city centers light up with these market stalls. You bring an extra bag with bubble wrap in it because you're going to buy so much at these Christmas markets. And it's just such a fantastic traditional holiday experience, one that we don't really recognize in this country, that old world Christmas. So you'll learn all about the tales of old world Christmas. It's really spectacular. For rivers, we also just in 2022 entered the river of the Mississippi River. So we love to call it America's Great River, filled with so many legends of America's heroes. You have Vicksburg on this itinerary, Memphis, Elvis, Louis Armstrong, Mark Twain up in the northern part of the Mississippi River. It is such a neat, closer to home itinerary. And we have one ship, and that ship, honestly, is very different from some of the others on the river. You think of paddle wheelers when you think of Mississippi. Well, I have to tell you, we have an infinity plunge pool off the back. It's very modern, very new, but we do have that beautiful experience on shore. When you travel with Viking, we take such great pride, not only when you're on board, but on shore through our local tour guides that are going to give you that rich history of the destination. So you can go this entire river, 15 days, all the way from, we even have a 22-day Mississippi itinerary, going all the way from St. Paul down to St. Louis and New Orleans. So you can really break that river apart for 8-day experiences or do the entire America's Great River. But I got to tell you, people love doing the New Orleans to Memphis because they spend some a little extra time in Memphis, Beale Street, Graceland, all that, and then also in the Big Easy in New Orleans. So really cool itineraries there. Exotic itineraries. The Mekong is fantastic. You can do Thailand, Cambodia, and experience, of course, Vietnam. This is a very, very beautiful experience. It's rich in history as well. And these ships are just 82 passengers. The Nile, just 82 passengers. So imagine how intimate that experience is. On the Nile, we have brand new ships as well. So the Mekong features two brand new ships, which is terrific. And then also brand new ships on the Nile. Steve, can you believe we're going to have 10 ships on the Nile River?
I know that this is a big point of growth for Viking in the near future. So we're really
Yes,
looking forward to it.
it is. And I have to tell you, I just spoke with someone yesterday that just got off the experience and they were like, oh my God, it is a once in a lifetime experience. And a lot of Viking will feel that way when you take these trips. These are once in a lifetime. Maybe that's why they're so lovely without the children, because you can really focus on the destination. But the Nile's neat because you spend some extra time in Cairo and making sure that you're getting all those pyramids, all those historical sites. And then we fly you down to Luxor. You go round trip Luxor. So your team can tell everybody about that. But you can see one of the things with Viking and our Scandinavian design on all of our ship experiences is the floor to ceiling windows, that feeling of bringing the outdoors in very light, bright spaces. I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite things about Viking because think about these long, narrow ships and how wonderful they are when they're light and bright, right? Beautiful designs that we bring into the lower left hand, right hand side of this is the dining room. You can see that open concept dining room experience. There's really no obstructions and just the floor to ceiling windows everywhere. So every twist and turn of the head on a Viking ship, whether it's river or ocean, you're going to get the destination. Because again, that's really our focal point, the destination. On our river ships, we also have the Aquavit Terrace, which is kind of unusual to have a second dining room on Viking. And that's like a garden cafe. So actually, it's a middle picture here to the right. You can see how that garden feel is. There's tables that are a little enclosed, and then all this outdoor seating. We have
And
casual.
actually, that's my favorite spot on the ship. Depending on the
It's
weather, of
so
course,
great.
but the Aquavit Terrace, being able to sit outside and have a glass of wine while you're sailing is nothing like it.
It's so great. And then our lounge is the heart of the destination, and that's where everybody congregates. And think about that. Not a lot of passengers. So it really creates this great intimate environment on board. And a lot of people, when they think about their experience on Viking, they always reference like how they met people from all over. And the North America essentially is where we market to. So really Canadians and Americans primarily on board. But they just love meeting these people and really connecting with people that have like-minded minds, people that love history, they love geography, they love the arts. You could see the very simplistic Scandinavian design of our staterooms, lots of storage. The ingenuity of this experience in the staterooms always knocks my socks off because there's always the plug exactly where you need it. We have beautiful bathrooms. So it's really just truly a lovely experience. So I'd be remiss to not also, sorry if I'm taking too much time here, to talk a little bit about Viking Ocean and Viking Expedition. Really, this is really meant for you to really see the world of Viking and get excited about all our products. So this experience is 930 passengers. This is an ocean ship, Steve. But at 930 passengers, because this is so small, you have the ability to go right into the harbors of these ports. So imagine yourself on the Med and not having to be out in sea and tendering in. You actually are docking right in the heart of these Mediterranean ports. River, we expect that. For ocean, that's rare. Taking an ocean ship on the Med, the Adriatic, up in the Baltic region, and having that ability to be in Stockholm and dock in the heart of the old city and not go to the cruise terminal or not have to tender, I have to tell you, to me, that's one of the best value. Now you're talking about an ocean ship that has no inside staterooms. Every stateroom starts with a veranda. So now you've got a veranda experience. You've got this small ship. You're docked right in the heart of Croatia. You're docked right in the heart of Monaco. You're docked right in the heart of Marseille. You are the ship that the people are walking right off. And it's really just terrific. And it's not really feeling over tourism because, again, it's just 930 passengers. So that intimacy that's on board is terrific. Our most popular first-time ocean cruise experience is, so if you've done river with us, I will tell you, a lot of people do one river cruise with Viking, and then they'll go right to an ocean cruise, primarily because they really want to see the Greek Isles or the Adriatic or the Med. But we have the British Isles Explorer. I love this itinerary. It's from Bergen to London. Bergen, Norway. So you're going to Norway. You can do a pre-extension on land in Norway. Now you're going into the British Isles, which is terrific. And we're talking about some new fully guided experiences off of this. So keep an eye out for that. But how awesome is that to go to England, Ireland, Scotland, by ship, get a little tasting menu of all those regions. And it's just terrific. And 15 days is perfect on Viking. 7 is too short. So 8 days, 7 nights, too short. 15 days is great. Another one I love is the Mediterranean Odyssey itinerary. I did this personally this summer. When I tell you, you're in the heart of every single one of these ports on this itinerary outside of Venice. But just, and just a little shuttle over there about an hour long, which is quite fun anyway to experience
I was,
Venice that
I
way.
remember very distinctly when you're talking about the small ships and the ports, being on a Viking ship in Monaco and walking past a massive line of people lining up for the tenders for a large ship that was anchored offshore. So it's nice
It's
to be right in
amazing.
the city.
It's so silly to say, but for me, I mean, you could take your robe from the Viking ocean ship and a towel from the pool and bring it out into the, swim in the med off of a beach that's right off of the port. You could half the time you can just walk to the beach. It's just really, really quite an experience. I love the Mediterranean Odyssey, Venice to Barcelona. So you're getting the Adriatic and you're getting the Western Med. So you're getting that traditional Rome to Barcelona, the south of France, Florence, Pisa, Tuscany, Naples, Pompeii experience. But now you're extending it out and going up the Adriatic experience, a port in Greece, but then split Dubrovnik and Venice. I mean, this is the way to do it because you don't want to have to break those apart and go back. This is to me the best tasting menu ever. I already know for me, I'm going back to Florence and I'm going back to Croatia. I also love the Greek Isles and then Viking homelands. If you have a desire to do Scandinavia, the fjords, so we do the fjords as well on this itinerary. So you're getting the Baltic, the fjords, and Norway. I mean, wow. Stavanger, Bergen, Oslo, you can experience Berlin off this itinerary, Stockholm, Gdansk. It really is just absolutely terrific. So keep an eye out for the Baltic region and Viking. That one again is 15 days. You have the laundrettes on board, so super easy. And this is that beautiful Scandinavian style incorporated on our ocean ships. We have more space here. You have lots of entertainment. You have a theater. You have what I call Tars Haven, which is like a speakeasy. You have lots of little areas, the Explorers Lounge, where you can hang out. But I want you to see this specific picture of the living room because that's what we do at Viking. We create these little intimate sitting sections where you can sit on a couch. They're very intimate. You meet other passengers on board. Again, no kids running around, but it feels like you're coming home to your own residence. You have multiple dining options. You have a spa. You have a retractable roof swimming pool, which comes in handy because I forgot to mention that we love our quiet med. You do the quiet med all the time, Steve. How
3 years
great,
straight, 3 years straight now. I love it.
how great is it to go when the crowds aren't there and the kids are back in school and you can get in to see the statue of David. You
We
can
we
actually
got we
see
got
it.
to tour the Acropolis without any crowd at all.
Yes. So, folks, please don't go in the heat, 100
Don't go in
degrees
the
in
heat.
Pompeii. Go when everybody else is going. Go quiet season med with Viking. You just bundle up a little bit more, but hey, it's worth it. So we have the winter garden, all these beautiful little areas. Like I said, the actual staterooms start with the veranda. And again, you can get from any part of the ship easily. It's very easy because the ships are so small. You have beautiful classical music floating throughout the vessel. We do TED Talks. We have a resident historian on board. And you can even listen to the lecture series from your own stateroom. You can go back and listen to the day before if you missed it because maybe you were out doing some extra tours. But again, even on ocean, you have the ability to have one shore excursion for every port. That's included. And then you can do all the additional ones. We call them optional tours based on what your passions are. We have great entertainment. We have a Viking band. We do pool parties. So people, it's quiet on board our ships. These are quiet vessels, but you can really still get a lot of entertainment and that learning experience. We often are dubbed the thinking person's cruise, which is actually a great segue to Viking expeditions, because I think what really sets us apart in these polar regions is those historians and the scientists that are on board our expedition ships. So you could be in Great Lakes, you can be in Antarctica, you can be in the Arctic, you can be up in Greenland, but the actual information that you're getting on these ports and the experiences and the wildlife, the birds, all of the sea life, everything is just terrific. So these ships are just 378 passengers. So super small, very great handling of the Drake Passage. If you're going to Antarctica, you'd go Ushuaia over through the Drake Passage, and then you're now in Antarctica from 4 to day 10. So day 4 to day 10, you're actually in Antarctica. So don't be fooled by others that may be circumvented. You are actually going to be in it, which is really terrific. Experiencing the penguins, experiencing all that of the last continent. The Great Lakes Explorers, 15 days, right? So that's where you can actually experience all of the Great Lakes. Into the Northwest Passage, where you're going up and experiencing Nuuk, Greenland, the Arctic Circle. So these ships are going to take you to really unique places. We also reposition them. So keep an eye out for these repositioning cruises that take you up and down the East Coast, South America, Chilean fjords, all that. Really neat experience. But again, really what makes Viking Expeditions be number one, which is amazing because we just started doing expeditions in 2022, is that science that we're doing on board. So imagine yourself on these small, intimate ships going up into the laboratory with our scientists, learning about the region through a microscope, learning about it through Scott Polar, learning about it through Cornell Lab of Ornithology. These folks are doing field work. They're actually doing field work. We're discovering new colonies, penguin colonies. It's really terrific. And we are the first ship to ever launch weather balloons. So this is the first civilian ship where you can launch weather balloons. So you'll launch a weather balloon and you'll track that, whether that's in the Great Lakes or it's in the Arctic. So really terrific ships. Again, that Scandinavian design, great outdoor spaces, retractable roof swimming pool, so you can swim during these, the colder months. You have a beautiful Nordic balcony where the window comes down, so it's not a veranda where you walk off, but your stateroom becomes this beautiful experience. We have a spa on board. So for an expedition ship, having multiple dining venues, having the spa, having the retractable roof swimming pool, and then really these beautiful observation areas where your lectures are taking place, theater style, and then most importantly, the hangar. So the only ship in this region that actually has the hangar where all the toys sit, zodiacs and kayaks and all that, but we have special operation boats. These are 2 boats. They live on the ship. They're 12 seats each, and they have hydraulic seats. So if you don't want to go out on the Zodiac, say you've done that in the morning, maybe you want to zip around the region, maybe you don't want to do the Zodiac again the next day, you can take the special operation boats. And if you do it in the morning or when you come back, you'll be actually exiting the ship through the hangar. So through this experience where you're coming in and out of the ship through the hangar. Otherwise, it's also very easy to board off a platform. But anyhow, having that alternative where you can really create your own expedition experience is terrific. So this really, the expedition ships, Steve, are really built for anyone. We really changed the environment of expedition cruising where it could be adventurous, but it doesn't have to be too adventurous. The program director actually said to me, you don't have to leave our expedition ships ever. You can actually stay on board the entire time and have such a cool experience because the floor to ceiling windows and then all the stuff that's happening on board gives you such a fulfilling expedition experience as well. So you could be traveling with someone who wants a very adventurous expedition, but then someone who doesn't, and you're both going to be really satisfied on board Viking because of the ships being a little larger than others in these regions, but also because of that offering all these additional amenities. So I finally am finished.
Thank you, Shannon. Really, a huge thank you to Shannon and for Viking Cruises for sharing such fantastic information and inspiring us with these amazing itineraries and destinations. It's always a pleasure working with one of the best in the business.
Oh, thanks so much. And really, just this is really meant for the deep dive into the world of Viking. Your team can take it from here and really pair your customers to their bucket lists and to the way they want to cruise and the experience they want out of Viking. But I thank you, Steve. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to your customers on behalf of the world of Viking. We're one Viking here. We can take your customers all over the world, and we know that you're just going to be the terrific partner to help give them the experiences that they're looking for. So thank you, Berwick Voyages
We really appreciate the partnership.
All right,
And
thanks.
thank you to everyone for watching. Whether you're planning your first cruise or your next adventure, stop by our site, berwickvoyages.com, to explore more about our luxury cruise experiences and find your perfect getaway. So until next time, take care and stay tuned for more chats with Shannon and Viking soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, so what I wanted to also share with your folks is if you're listening to this video in the month of January of 2025, we have the most amazing program going on right now. We have our Explorer sale, and I have not seen this sale since I've been working at Viking. So this is over 6 years, where it's called Your Choice Sale. You actually have the ability to select what you want. So you can select complimentary gratuities and our Silver Spirits beverage package. Now, remember, wine and beer are included at lunch and dinner. And if you're only going to have one cocktail, maybe this isn't the right choice for you. But if you love your spirits, you love your bourbons, you're going to have it after dinner drink every night, maybe even before dinner drink. This complimentary gratuities and Silver Spirits package are basically what you would be paying. Everything else is very inclusive at Viking. So these are additional costs for you that are now included with this sale. We also have, if you don't want to take that option, you can take a $500 per person shipboard credit. This turns out great because you can use that up to, so it's spent depending on length of sail. And Steve and his team can help you figure out which is the best option for you. But this works out really well if you know you're going to do a lot of optionals, you're going to definitely add the gratuities, you don't want the beverage package. I love that option. And then if you've already sailed with us, we also have our double pass passenger rewards. So you may want to consider this depending on the sailing. And again, really, I think that make or break on the choice of this one is whether or not you want the drink package. I do tell you the drink package is lovely. We actually have a wonderful list of non-alcoholic options and then also mocktails. So it really comes in handy for that too. But also you can have that mimosa in the morning. You can have that after dinner drink and not have to think about
The Silver Spirits, I believe, is one of the best in the business, if not the best in the business. It's a very reasonable cost, and it gives you the ability to just come back from an excursion after lunch and have a beer and not worry about the cost. Or maybe in the evening, you want an optional wine or a scotch on the rocks. So you don't have to worry about that extra cost. You're talking about the Your Choice sale. We sat down and done the math for many, many people this month. If you're getting the beverage package, if you're a person who gets 3 or 4 optional drinks per day, that's definitely the best value. If you don't get the beverage package, it's better to go with the shipboard credit or the double pass guest rewards.
Yeah, and it's great. And Steve and his team can help you figure out which is the best option for you. But the moral of this story and the message here is that this is a terrific month to book Viking. So please contact your team, your travel advisor at Berwick Voyages, and figure out what the best sailing is. The pricing is terrific this month. You can get up to some great airfare deals, and then add this on top of it. This is the time to book. And by the way, the deposits are only $25. So if you have already a booking with Viking on the books, you definitely want to book another one under this sale, because it's really only going to cost you $25 to hold the space. And we all know that Viking does sell out, right? So we want to get our stateroom. We want to get that early. We want to book early with Viking. And so you can really leverage this. So if you have something going on in 2025 already, I would definitely contact to book your 2026 or 2027 because the inventory goes fast with us. And again, this sale is absolutely terrific. So you want to take advantage of it, and your commitment would only be then $25 per person. So Steve and his team can explain that, but really lots of value to this. And so we wanted to make sure you were all aware of this fantastic promotion going on this month. So Happy New Year to you. Here's a Happy New Year present.
Thank you again, Shannon. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.